Hey, it's Marvolo and welcome back to my channel. So just a couple of days ago, I went to the Vans Warped Tour in Salem, Oregon. This was my 6th year attending Warped Tour. I went for my first time back in 2007 and I've went 6 times over the years, and today I just wanted to share my story of my experience this year at Warped Tour. So like I said, I went to the Salem, Oregon location, and usually for our Oregon date, we have it in Portland. So this was the first time having it outside of Portland. The city we had it in is quite a bit smaller than Portland, so it made the traffic a lot easier. And I don't know if this is going to end up being the case for the entire tour, but it almost seemed like a more chilled out atmosphere. I really enjoyed it. So I just want to say a quick thanks to my friend Sean. He drives one of the tour trucks. The company he works for works on the Warped Tour every year pretty much. He drives truck, and some of the trucks end up folding out and becoming the actual stages at Warped Tour. So if you've ever wondered like how they get the stages there, it's actually a semi-truck, you know, the long haul trucks, and it just kind of snaps open and that's the stage. Crazy, right? I've known Sean for a couple of years. I met him back in 2013 at Warped Tour. He's a photographer that I've worked with as well, and actually he recently came and picked me up, and we went on this kind of photo road trip for 2 or 3 days. And if you follow me on Snapchat, you've probably already seen some of the adventure we had, but I'll have a vlog put together pretty soon of our little photo adventure. Anyway, he put me on the guest list and gave me a +1. I took my mom with me, and she ended up paying $5 to park. I paid a $5 donation, and then we both got free tickets to get in. Because we were getting in for free, we didn't feel as stressed out. We didn't feel the need to get there early and stand in line. We just were kind of chilled out. We got there around like 1:30, 2 o'clock, and there was no line, and it was really easy to get a parking spot. Just super relaxed. And that's never been my experience at Warped Tour in the past. If you guys are interested, I could make a video in the future talking about past Warped Tour experiences. So by the time we got in, security was super relaxed. Now, I mean, disclaimer, I'm going to talk about some stuff and you might not agree with it, but I'm just telling you my experience, okay? You're not supposed to bring snacks to Warped Tour, I guess, but my mom brought a lot of little baggies of Cheez-Its, and one of them she emptied the Cheez-Its out of and instead filled it up with weed and taped it up. And the guy didn't really search us thoroughly, and he's like, you're not supposed to bring in snacks, but it's a stupid rule, so take your snacks. So we got our weed in, no problem. I don't remember where my mom put her pipe, but they didn't notice that either. I thought the Cheez-It thing was kind of smart. So we brought a blanket and we laid it out. We sat down, had a pop brownie, and then we decided, okay, we've got our space, we've got this blanket. It's not like an important, nice blanket or anything, so if someone steals it, it's not going to be a big deal, but people are really chill, so that wasn't an issue. So we decided to just go and sort of walk around and listen to a few bands. I have a couple clips from my Snapchat feed, so I'll throw some in throughout while I'm talking about various things. I'll try to have like corresponding video clips next to me in one of the spots. I don't know. This year I couldn't really tell which stages were supposed to be the main stages, but there were Mutant, North and South, and then there was the Journey left and right foot stage, which those might have been the main stages. I don't know. And then there were 2 other stages, Hard Rock stage and then Full Sail University stage, which that's very weird, I don't know. Anyway, I also walked around to a lot of different booths and checked them out. Trojan wasn't here this year, and I don't remember them being here in 2013 either, and that's something I really miss. I loved when Trojan used to be on the Warped Tour. The PETA booths were, of course, doing their PETA thing. If you're vegan, you might really enjoy that because there's an opportunity to win free vegan cheese at the PETA booth. Yeah. Something I really enjoyed were petitions regarding body modifications in the workplace. I stopped in and made sure to sign those. And then Plug Your Holes actually had a booth at Warped Tour, and I thought that was just really, really awesome. I was quite pleased with that. So after going around and looking at all the different booths and getting a picture of the schedule, I decided, you know what, okay, let's go to the Monster truck, because there's always like a truck parked somewhere basically, where you can go in this little covered area and drink a free beverage by the company Monster, and this year it was like a mutant soda. The one I had tasted like Mountain Dew, but with like double the sugar. Not a big fan. They also have a sugar-free one, but it's really high in sodium, so I would recommend not drinking that before you go into a mosh pit though, because I did that and it was a bad idea. We got to just sort of listen to a couple different bands because there was 2 stages, the mutant stages right in front there, which is really nice because the bands will alternate off and on. You'll know this if you've been to Warped Tour, but if you don't, the 2 stages right next to each other, one will have a band go on at like 3 o'clock and then they'll finish up at like 3:30 and then the other band will start. They just go bam, bam, back and forth. So you can stand there and view 2 stages, so there's always music playing. Once after the burial started playing, I decided I wanted to go down and get in the crowd. It's not a band I was familiar with before, but I really, really liked the sound of them, and I saw a mosh pit forming. Now, I'll go ahead and let you know that there were signs that said, no crowd surfing is for dumb people, and no mosh pits and stuff like that. We did it anyway. There were mosh pits anyways. There was crowd surfing anyways. I have never crowd surfed, probably never will, because I'm afraid that I would just basically be getting groped the whole time or something, you know. Yeah. It looks like it could be fun, just not something I want to do. But I did get in the mosh pit for after the burial. And that was fun. It was strange because I'm used to there being a bigger mosh pit at these events, and maybe there were bigger mosh pits later on in the day, but I got too pooped just off of the after the burial mosh pit to do any more. It was pretty good. I was the only female in there, so I spent a lot of time bracing myself. I'm experienced in the mosh pits, so I guess I kind of know what I'm doing. At least for my size. It's totally different depending on, you know, your strength and your size, but I know how to, like, brace myself and how to hit back properly. This huge, tatted, bald guy just charged at me and, like, body slammed into me, and I flew onto the ground because I was not bracing myself. And I don't think I could have braced myself for that hit. Someone's like helping me back up into the mosh pit, and then some lady just comes and yanks me and drags me out. And I'm like, why, lady, why? It was still fun though. But after that, I was pretty exhausted and ready to go get some water. We had brought water bottles because you're allowed to bring 1 apiece. And we sat down and smoked a bowl. Our lighter wasn't working, but we asked another group of people for a lighter and we kind of swapped bowls with them. Another couple of guys saw me and my mom smoking and came down and asked if we wanted to do dabs, so that was cool, getting to just get free dabs. We just got dabbed out for free. That was really cool. And while we were sitting there, back on our blanket, we could still hear the bands. After a while of sitting there, I realized my phone was dying, and my friend Sean that got us the tickets, he had finally woken up. He told us how to get back to where he was, and I tried to get back there, but my armband said escort needed, so he had to come and collect me. We were able to go back to where all the buses are, where the bands are, and where they do workshops in the back. I told him the band I was most excited to see was GWAR, and he started showing me a bunch of pictures from the set they had done the night before in Seattle, which was the first night of the Warped Tour. It looked really kick-ass, so I decided I wanted to be right up front. He let me use his mobile phone charger, so I was able to keep my phone at least somewhat charged. On our way back from the semi, we were really, really thirsty, and my mom was just like, gosh, there's no beer garden this year. I haven't seen any beer garden. Where is it? And then all of a sudden, right when she says that, I just see a sign that says cold beer. There it is. This was my first year going to Warped Tour since being old enough to drink, so that was kind of exciting. Basically, I just got to stand in a really long line, and then buy an overpriced cider that I didn't enjoy at all. Yeah. The first few drinks of it were really good though because I was so thirsty. But after that, we were hungry, and the food line seemed so much shorter after standing in the beer line. The beer line was so ridiculous. When we went back to our blanket to eat, the guys who dabbed us out were there again, and we did some more dabs and had another bowl. By that time it was already like 6 o'clock, so I went over to GWAR's merch tent and got a shirt. I did not put it on. I don't know why. I was just wearing a Harry Potter shirt, a Ravenclaw shirt to be exact. And then my mom and I went and stood over at the stage GWAR would be at, and Silverstein was playing. I've seen them play at least one other time. During Warped Tour in 2013, I actually got to go up on stage while they were playing. We stood a little ways back and slowly, like, inched forward whenever I could find time to inch forward. and they put on a really good show. They were really fantastic. They're a really solid band. They put out consistent good work. By the time they were done playing, I had made my way all the way to the front. The very front, right pressed up against the grate, and got my mom up front with me too. While I was standing there though, this girl was just being so annoying, and she's like, this is my third GWAR show and my second time being in the front, and like, I don't think you can handle it. And I'm like, okay, lady. And my friend came up, and the people around me looked all excited, like, oh my god, look, the photographer's talking to someone over here. He's like, you better give me that battery pack back, I don't want it getting soaked. Smart call on his part. I have this really cool picture that Sean took of me and the people around me, and you'll see this guy's face in this picture. Hold on, I'll make it big. Before it started, he's like, this is my 18th GWAR show, and things are gonna get real intense, and like, I don't know, they were just acting really snobby. GWAR snobs. So GWAR comes on and the show is fantastic. It's really hard to describe them if you've never seen them before. I got completely drenched. I mean, so drenched. From head to toe, I was drenched in fake blood. And mostly that's what they were shooting out, was just like bright red fake blood. And then at another point it was bright blue. I think it was supposed to be cum, but I really don't know. It was just bright Smurf blue. They are very theatrical and very hard, and they have wonderful costumes. If you go and check out their website, they have a really interesting mythos on there. Be prepared to get wet if you're going to be in the front for their show. Or really anywhere in the crowd, probably. Yeah, like stand far back if you don't want to. A lot of the photographers were hiding like under the stage. But the whole time I was getting completely smushed and rammed up against, and people trying to worm their way in front of me and smash past me, and so there was a lot of holding my ground. I have a lot of bruises from that. I guess some guy was like standing behind my mom and kept going like that across her throat. It was crazy. So I didn't go into the pit because I liked being up in the front, but I think like I turned around and I could see into the pit, and everyone looked like they were covered in blood, so if anyone was actually bleeding, you couldn't really tell. And one guy looked like he was about to pass out in their pit, and security dove in and like pulled him out. I got a lot of people dropped on my head and neck during that show, which that's something to know if you're going to be in the front. If you'd like some tips and tricks and Warped Tour secrets or whatever, I can make a video about that too. But after GWAR, I was just really cold, really soaked, and really red. And I looked at my mom and her face was just like tomato red. I didn't feel like mine was that red, but I couldn't tell. My hands were like wine purple. And we didn't get any pictures that really did what we looked like justice, because when I got home my face was just so stained red. It was so hard to scrub all of the GWAR off. It kind of sucked because getting out of the shower I couldn't tell what parts of my face were sunburned and which parts were like stained red. But after GWAR, we went over and watched the tail end of Watsky's set. Watsky is wonderful. I know him off of the Hamilton mixtape, but holy shit, that guy can rap pretty fast. Got a very unique sound. I really enjoy him, and we'll be checking him out more in the future. While we were listening to Watsky, we were talking to some guy that was just like passing out his band's merch, just like a really small up-and-coming band. And he told us that if we want to check out something unique, Dance Gavin Dance is something we should check out. Right around that time, this lady came up to us and asked if we could get a medic, because she noticed our like crew wristband whatever things, and she said her son had been having seizures and it wasn't stopping, so we went and got a medic, and the guy we had been talking to took the medic back so we could go see Dance Gavin Dance, so that was really cool of him. And wow, I definitely would recommend you check out Dance Gavin Dance, because it's really hard to explain their sound. Like, look them up right now and then come back here. Or, like, wait until you're done with my video, you know. Either way, I don't mind either way. But they had this poppy but jazzy electronic type feel to their sound, but also like that little edge of emo. And then they had like this guy who was just like hardcore screaming, and then someone else who was doing almost operatic vocals. Very unique. It's like a fusion of 12 different types of music at once, and you don't really know what you're hearing, but in a good way. I don't think we stayed for the whole set for Dance Gavin Dance because my mom and I were both just drenched. We were ready to get out of there. No, we did stay for all of Dance Gavin Dance's set, and then we heard one song by Bless the Fall. That's what it was. And then we bounced out. And it was perfect because if you leave before the last band plays, you get out before everyone else is trying to get out. It was such a low-key Warped Tour, and not having to pay for the tickets definitely helped us to stress out less, but that's the biggest tip I'll probably leave you with right now before making another video about tips and stuff. Try not to stress it too much because you're gonna have a good time. I was worried that I wouldn't enjoy it as much because I don't know as many bands as I used to, and I thought it was going to be a much younger crowd. I was very surprised by the age diversity. I mean, there were some people who looked like they were maybe 11 or 12, but there were also people my mom's age and older than my mom. But there were people of all ages there, and a lot of people that seemed like they were my age in their 20s or their 30s, and I don't know, I was just really pleasantly surprised because back in 2013 when I went, it seemed like it was a much younger crowd, and I felt old. And I was only 20. I think that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already so you can stay updated for the next time I make a video. If you're planning on going to Warped Tour, or if you already have, let me know down below who you're looking forward to seeing or who was your favorite band to see. And I love you guys, and I will see you again soon.